everyone, Luke here and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video what we're going to be doing is making a ride-on scooter from a child's bike. So let's take a look at the parts. So I've already chopped the kid's bike down into the parts that I need. So let's take a look at them. So I've got the handlebars right here with the braking system. I've got the back end to hold the back wheel. I've got the front end to hold the front wheel and this bit of the frame to weld onto the footplate. And I have got the tyres. And if you're wondering what size of the child's bike I got, it was a 16-inch one. So I put a little bit of thought into how I'm going to make the footplate. So how I decided to do this was get two steel angles like these, cut two lengths of 800mm and then cut three lengths of 160mm. And how this is going to go together is similar to a H-frame. And I am going to be welding these together. Bear in mind I've not had really any experience with welding, so I'm just going to go give it a go. Okay, so this is the footplate fully welded together, and I don't think these welds actually look bad at all, considering this is pretty much my first time ever giving it a go. So like I said before, I cut these two lengths here at 800, and then these three lengths that are connecting everything together are cut at 160, which means everything should be the same size and it should be the same distance across. So let's just take a closer look at that. I think that looks really nice. So what I'm going to do next is cut out a piece of wood to put over the top of this, and that will give me everything that I need to have something to stand on whilst I'm pushing. And then the next part is to try and figure out how to weld the back end and the front end on. So I'm going to go off and ponder that for a minute, and I'll come back once I've made some progress. So I finished preparing the front end of the scooter, so I ended up cutting this bar out here, and now I've got it set up in a way so I can make sure that it's square. So as it sits here, I can just weld this to the bottom of the plate and it should be okay. So I'm going to go off and do that now. So now I've got the front end of the scooter welded on. I think it's actually starting to come together really nicely. And if I move out of the way, you can actually see how long the base is going to be. And I really like this length. So now if I line up the back wheel, you're actually going to see that it's going to start looking like a scooter. So let's take a look at that. So I just put my back wheel in like this. Oh. Like so. And there we go, take a look at that. I think that looks absolutely beautiful. So how I'm going to do this back end is I'm probably going to weld these bits of pipe to this part right here, which means I chop these down just a little bit more. And then these pieces up here, I'm going to probably have an angle coming down from here to here and the same on the other side, just like how I've done on the front end right here. So I'm going to go off and ponder how I want this back end to look, and I want to make sure that it's all level all the way through. I don't want it to be at an angle on the base. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to do that now. And here we go, this is what it looks like with the back end welded on. So I've just attached the tyre just to give some visualisation of what it would look like. And I've given it a lick of paint and I used Hammerite to do this, and I think it looks really nice. So I've also added this back brace right here, and this is what's going to hold the back brake for the back wheel. So I've pretty much thought of everything so far. So as lovely as the actual scooter's looking, it's going to look quite silly if it has small handlebars on this nice scooter. So what I'm going to do is extend them by using this. And this is actually quite a stroke of luck that we had this lying about. So how I'm going to extend these is I've chopped off this bit right here. So this can just fit on at the top right here. And then I'm just going to spot weld that on. Put it through the actual forks. See how tall I need it to be. And then, when I'm ready and I know the size of the handlebars, I will cut it, and I've got this bit to stick in at the bottom, which will go straight in like that. That will be spot welded, and that means the bolt can still come through and lock the handlebars into place. So I thought that was quite smart, so I'm going to go off and do that now. So now I've attached the handlebars, there's only one thing for it, and that's to give it a go. So let's do that. do next is probably weld an extra few bits of bracket around the frame so I know it's more stable and it's not going to break when I start to push it. So I'm going to go off and do that now, give it a clean up, and I'll show you the finished result. Before we paint the scooter, there's one thing that we've got to do, and that is to give it a test ride to make sure that it's not going to break when I'm just riding around. So, let's do that. Okay, so I've painted the handlebars black and I think these look really nice. But there's one more thing that we've got to do before we finish the first part of this project. And that is to put a slight bend in this stem right here. And that's because when you're actually on the scooter, the angle of these handlebars just feels super uncomfortable because they're really high and they're really up here, when really I want them to be around here. So I'm going to go do that now. So that actually worked really well, and I'm really impressed with the way that this rides. It's really comfortable, and the height of this almost feels custom to my arms because I'm quite a tall geezer and I've got really long arms, so this is the perfect positioning. So what we're going to do next is paint it, make sure that the foot plate has been sanded down and lacquered, and once we've done that, we've pretty much come to the end of the first part of the video. So now we've added our coat of paint and we've bolted our foot plate to the actual scooter, it's time to leave it overnight to dry, which actually brings me to the end of the video. But I would make sure you stay tuned because in the next video we're going to be adding the electronics and the motor to turn this into an e-scooter, which is going to be pretty cool. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them all. Anyway guys, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you later.